So now what is the game plan? I really don't want to put my bishop behind this pawn chain and make this pawn push. Because if I do so, boy oh boy is it going to become difficult to get that bishop into the game. So you know what? We're just going to step back and let him get the bishop. And we're just going to trade completely equal. Because maintaining the bishop, but like if I push this forward behind all of these pawns on light squares, my bishop would basically just live in this little cube forever. And so I don't want to do that. So we're going to avoid that situation and just trade it off and get a slightly ruined pawn structure. It is what it is. I still need to push this pawn. I still need to develop my bishop. I still need to castle at least somewhere. So one square, developing the bishop here, and then castling this way seems like a decent plan to me. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to not fall behind on the clock, because in this one there's no increment. I mean, we can just take, right? Take, take, take. Looks good to me. I mean, I'm up a pawn, but it's an incredibly weak pawn. Okay. And then this becomes really weak right after. Didn't see that little tactic. Defending with the knight seems to make a little bit of sense, but we're going to just go here. And now I'm worried about my castling prospects. So he's going to grab this. I push. Capture, capture, capture. Capture. If he gives the check, I can step back. And if he trades, then we're just not able to castle, but we have a completely equal position. Actually, I'm okay with all of that happening. So, boom, boom. Now it's defended, actually. So that's a tad bit of a problem. I think I could just get rid of... In today's episode, what we're going to be doing is learning... Oh, hello, and welcome back, and thank you so much for clicking on my video. In today's episode, what we're going to be doing is learning the Caro-Kann, because that looks like what we're going to get out of the opening. And so our opponent is 1845 from Argentina. And so I'm 4 elo higher than him, so that makes me believe that we're going to win this game quite easily, because we've got the 4 elo rating. Will he play c4 is the question. He does not. He neglects to do so. So developing the bishop all of a sudden actually becomes okay, because the tension here from the queen coming out is not felt to the full extreme. So we're going to just develop a knight. Develop a knight. Tickle a bishop. I could chase him around. I guess what we're slightly worried about is this whole nonsense. But chasing him around kind of overextends my pawns. But we're going to do it because my bishop is on the outside of the pawn chain. So I think we're going to be greedy and just go for this bishop. He comes back and we just capture. He develops the queen and I jump into the position. So I'm going to capture his bishop first, because if he captures mine, I capture the rook. So I'm going to go ahead and cash out on that opportunity right there. I mean, yeah, he can go for this, but I'm grabbing the rook, so he simply can't. So it was a dangerous levels thing. He was like, okay, you attack my bishop, and I'll attack your bishop. But the problem is mine comes with tempo on the bishop. on the rook. So now what is the game plan? I really don't want to put my bishop behind this pawn chain and make this pawn push. Because if I do so, boy oh boy is it going to become difficult to get that bishop into the game. So you know what? We're just going to step back and let him get the bishop. And we're just going to trade completely equal. Because maintaining the bishop, but like if I push this forward behind all of these pawns on light squares, my bishop would basically just live in this little cube forever. And so I don't want to do that. So we're going to avoid that situation and just trade it off and get a slightly ruined pawn structure. It is what it is. I still need to push this pawn. I still need to develop my bishop. I still need to castle at least somewhere. So one square, developing the bishop here, and then castling this way. Seems like a decent plan to me. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to not fall behind on the clock, because in this one there's no increment. I mean, we can just take, right? Take, take, take. Looks good to me. I mean, I'm up a pawn, but it's an incredibly weak pawn. Okay. And then this becomes really weak right after. Didn't see that little tactic. Defending with the knight seems to make a little bit of sense, but we're going to just go here. And now I'm worried about my castling prospects. So he's going to grab this. I push. Capture, capture, capture. Capture. If he gives the check, I can step back. And if he trades, then we're just not able to castle, but we have a completely equal position. Actually, I'm okay with all of that happening. So, boom, boom. Now it's defended, actually. So that's a tad bit of a problem. I think I could just get rid of the queen. I'm not sure if that's really good or bad for me. I mean, I can't really move anywhere with my queen. So capture, capture. I just go for you. Probably he captures here. I capture here. I think let's just go for it. I go here. He captures, but I captured this attacking the knight. So we're just going to give up these pawns and attack this one. He could like step back and defend. And I mean, like, this light square diagonal is absolutely weak, but I don't think that it really matters all that much. He could just castle. Okay, so he defends. I don't really have a great way of defending my pawn, so I'm going to lose something here. I think the only... I mean, I could just go for this one instead. But then he captures here and defends it. So I think we need to just accept that we're losing one of these pawns. Is pretty much what's going to happen here. So he grabs this one. Cool. I can throw in this check. Develop. We're going for this. Then I'm able to castle or step up. Not sure what's better. I can also threaten this knight. So like if he brings the knight, I can just bring this guy. Then he has to defend. I'm not sure if that makes any sense. Castling would probably be a reasonable idea as well. Here fixes his pawn structure. So if I go in, boom, and he could take back like this. So like if I jump in this, do I have anything on grabbing that rook? Probably just stepping up is going to be okay. I can also defend this pawn by pushing it forward. So I think it's probably my time to step up. Alright, we're going to castle because this walks into a check. We are then going to put my rook here. And like I said, I'm going to stay the same on the clock. So for these next few moves, I'm just going to play relatively quickly and hope that I don't make a blunder. But I'm not getting in one of these situations where I have way less time than my opponent, regardless of the situation. And this is a weakness. This is also a weakness. So I feel like we're more or less equal. Like if he goes here, there's no pin anymore, so he could just capture. Boom, boom, boom. Attacking this pawn is going to be really difficult. He can just defend it like this. And I don't think there's going to be a great way for me to like really go about attacking it. Not sure what to do here. Defend. I think we're just going to step all the way back. Sucks to do, but I'm not going to just give up my bishop for the knight. We are keeping the bishop on the board. Now my knight, you know, is considering getting in the middle. He can just attack this pawn, but I think I'm going to defend it. He would then go here. I could go here and lock my bishop in jail. But then I would jump forward. I would take the bishop. I think we just put the knight in the middle of the board. That is what the knight wants to do. And we are all of a sudden attacking this pawn many times. So he's going to have to defend it. I think we're going to go here. If the knight comes, we simply get rid of it. Doubling up is kind of my new idea. We're going to go here. He can give us a check, but we step up. And then if he takes, I take. And then he just defends the pawn. But in that position, I can push. And then he'd have to push forward. I don't think there's anything promising there. He can just push. We've got our little 1 minute time advantage. And so we are entering into the part of the game where I think we've kept it more or less equal the entire game. And we're going to probably maintain to do so. However, at some point, we're going to get low in time and start making some blunders. And that is really the part of chess that you need to practice for. Like, surviving the opening and surviving the middle game is whatever. But the game is won and lost in the end game. And so more or less, everything that we do is just getting us to this point. So this pawn push works now. We push forward. He can't capture. So we push forward. Say he attacks. I just take. He defends. Then I take. I think we're going for this pawn push. Simply because at the end of the day, I think I get to take back. I could even take with the bishop. But you know what? A passed pawn defended by everything in my position seems to make the most amount of sense. Now I'm just hanging on to my extra pawn. But what I'm going to do is push, push. And if he's not careful, I'm going to just get it all the way down. And we will go into an end game, potentially where I'm attacking this pawn and grab another pawn, or I somehow mobilize my king. Also, this rook is like restricted. He's got to move the bishop. I'm attacking the bishop straight up, just right off the bat. So going here would maybe make sense. But then I might just push onto a... I think we're going to go for this. We push it onto a light square, so now the bishops don't matter so much, and bringing the king is pretty much what he's going to do. So he can just like bring the king all the way here. Okay, he'll do it like boom, 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 boom. I don't know, all the way here then like this? Is that what he's going to try and do? I'm not 100% sure. What if I just jump in? I mean, he takes, I take. He's not going to want to do that. His pawn is also weak. So if I can start, like if he starts letting go of the attack on this pawn, like right now this pawn is really defended. So he's got to do one more thing to maintain the attack on it. And we're whittling away at the clock. And so now I have my one pawn advantage. Pushing this to a light square and like bringing my king up here seems like a reasonable idea. I don't think we're going to waste a huge amount of time on that move. We defend the bishop. The back rank checkmate is not a checkmate because I have made this capture, so I've got a place to go. So it looks scary, but we will survive. And you better be careful, because if I get this, and I start attacking stuff, and I can like lock in the position, I think we just activate this bishop. The bishop is no longer doing the job of defending my pawn, so now let's attack this guy instead. He can probably just get in the way. What if I threaten this? Like, boom. Check, I step up. Here. Let's go for it. Let's try and trade some pieces off. You can give the check, but I just step up. And then I'm really attacking this. So we'd have to figure out a way to defend it. You could probably just defend like this. Man, these endgames are rough. And our opponent's going to need to start playing faster. He's got 2 minutes on the clock. We're stepping up. That was the plan all along. We're now attacking this with 2 pieces, so he's basically got to slide over and defend it somehow. I think we will take this time to slide over here. He'll probably attack this rook. And I don't have a huge amount of great options other than capturing. So if he pushes forward, I'm just going to take with this pawn. But I think I'm just slowly massaging the position. Like I said, if he loses focus of attacking this pawn, like if we're fighting over these 2 pawns. That is what this position. We have the exact same pieces. We're just arguing over these 2 pawns. Like I want to capture yours and you want to capture mine, and I want to keep defending it. So if the focus is defending and attacking this pawn, this one's fine. But if we switch over to this one, like soon this one will be undefended, and we're gonna have to figure out what's actually going on in the position. The only thing that I don't like is my king is really inactive. Like my king is just about as inactive as it possibly gets. So he wants to slide in here and deliver checkmate like this. I think I could just push this pawn forward. So I think I can capture. Wait. Capture, 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 here, we push up. Let's go for this. If he goes for this, I have time. I push this pawn forward, correct? And then I'm safe. You got to make sure you don't get checkmated. And my rooks are dreadfully undefended. And he's still got a move like this, which is not super fun for me to deal with. Like, what do I do in that situation? I guess I could go full defense mode and defend my 7th rank and like step up like this. And if we can get rid of his attacking dark square bishop. So at this point, I'm really just going to win on time, which is yet another reason. Oh, he resigns. Okay, yeah, he was just going to lose on time regardless. Most likely with 40 seconds, like you're bound to make a blunder, and there are still a lot of moves that need to be played, and you know what I mean, I'm up 2 pawns. And so, man, how did we get there? That was a pretty straightforward game of chess. It wasn't necessarily the most exciting, but I feel like I played relatively accurate. Bada boom, bada bing. This was a little nonsense, all of this out of the opening. But either way, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to bring it to Lead Chess, and let's see how accurate that game actually was. So I'm going to change my scenes. Where is this thing at? This is for Lead Chess. We go in here. I'm going to show you guys the whole behind the scenes, how we do this. We take it from chess.com. We minimize this. We go to Lead Chess. Import. This is how you can actually do like some analysis that actually makes sense, because the one on chess.com completely sucks. It shows you the top 3 computer lines, and you have to read it like... You got to read the coordinates, which not everybody can do, like me. So, okay, let's see. Mainline stuff. Let's see, is the bishop coming out? Okay, so the bishop coming out is a great move in this position. But, like I've explained, if they play c4, bringing the bishop out is losing. Essentially, okay? So, let's just go through the opening. All we really did... Wow, one of the best computer lines. Obviously, this is not great, but it's not terrible. Then we grab this. Going in or capturing made more sense, but whatever. I guess, because yes. Okay, now this makes sense. I could have captured like this, taken pressure off of this pawn, and not gotten a ruined pawn structure, and your knight still sucks on the side of the board because he never got to capture anything. That makes sense. But it's not the end of the world. Capture, 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 and then I'm just up a pawn, I believe. And wasn't the whole idea... He could have captured back and gone into that little endgame thing. And he's doing a bad job. He's trying to just defend everything. He should have just been a little bit more of an attacker. So we castle, still a completely even position. So we'll scroll down at the end of the game and see how accurate it was. Knight to the middle, stepping forward, stepping over, and white is slightly losing. We go for this pawn break, trade, capture, and now I'm just up a pawn, but I have a passed pawn. We advance this so that none of the dark square pieces are doing anything. We step up. I could have just pushed forward again, but whatever, positioning the bishop. Why is this so much better? Because, oh, pretty simple, I'm going for this. Okay. Was going for that back rank idea. We step out of the way. The focus goes to checkmating me. Only real move in the position. I can run away, but then I can get checked, and then I step up, and then this. I'm not really sure what to do. If I play this, oh, I just run this way, and then this check and I step over. What if check here? Oh, I block with the pawn. Okay. Instead, we push the pawn, the best move, and our opponent resigns because it's a -5 position, and it's like, what are you really going to do? You know what I mean? This pretty much has to be done. I probably would have captured this way. You give the check, and I'm happy. Nice and safe, and I'm surrounded by a bunch of pawns. And then the focus goes back to my passed pawn, which your king is actually pretty far away from. He's actually cut off. So say he gets behind, I'll probably give a little check. You step up, and then just defend it. And then it just turns into, like, maybe I even give up the pawn and go for these guys. So either way, the end game was going to be not necessarily super difficult to win. It wasn't the most exciting game of chess. Dude resigned in a losing position, but sometimes that's all it takes. So let's see how accurate it was. 89. Not the worst. One blunder, 2 mistakes, and my blunder was not pushing that pawn. Yeah, my blunder was not pushing this pawn. I guess this would have made sense. Like, if you have a passed pawn, just push it. There's only 2 attackers, and then the idea is to swing behind, where if you take, I just make a queen, and if you don't take, then I take you, and then we're just really pushing for this passed pawn. So either way, thank you so much for watching my video. If you learned anything or simply enjoyed watching me play chess, please subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000, and it's a long road. So get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. I love you. Oh, hello and welcome back, and thank you so much for clicking on my video, my fellow chess enthusiast. If you are trying to get better at chess, you are in the wrong place, because what is going to happen in this game is we're going to play the opposite side castling, attacking version of the Sicilian. So this is Sicilian. We're going to go into, I hope, some sort of open-ish structure where the bishops get to bishop. The knight trades off almost immediately because it becomes a problem. And so the game plan is as such. Develop the knight, develop the bishop, do something with this bishop. I'm unsure of what that plan is yet. Do something with the queen, castle this way, he'll go this way, and we launch some pawns. So none of that has happened yet, but mark my word, all of it is going to happen. And then we're going to try and perfect the attacking game of chess, because literally the way that I win every game of chess is so boring. I just go up a pawn, like some tactic in a middle game or something, and I just win in an end game. And I am so tired of doing that. I want to like figure out, how do I attack? If he ruins my pawn structure, for one, it ruins my pawn structure, but then this guy's hanging. So deciding what to do with this bishop, my bishop is going to become a pawn temporarily, because we are not going to hang this pawn, because this pawn will be a thorn in the enemy's position at some point. I'm already occupying some squares in the center, which is good for me. And so if he captures, cool. We got a ruined pawn structure. I'll still castle this way, bro. I will still do it. So what he's really going for is figuring out how to, like, just win a pawn on this side of the board. But it's not going to happen. It is just straight up not going to happen. And I think this is pretty close to what I had predicted. You know, I put some of the pieces where I had planned to do so. We're still got to figure out what to do with the queen. Most likely we're just going to go here to e2, because I can't go here, and I don't want to get in the way of this pawn. So that is my analysis on this position thus far. This little standoff, we're not going to do that. We're going to develop the queen first. Most likely he brings the knight. He brings the knight or pushes this pawn, or he castles. And if he castles, so we're playing, by the way, we're playing a 5+5 casual, because 2 tips. if you want to have a fun and enjoyable chess experience, bro, just play casual, because you don't have to worry about the elo. And then for 2, nobody cheats in casual. Okay. So I've played 2 grandmasters in my life, okay? And one of them gave me some free advice. We had a somewhat similar position, and he said that f4 is more forcing than f3. The computer says that they're the same, but I'm going to learn how to just make this work, because he hasn't castled, so I'm throwing this pawn. Stepping back to touch my knight. Now that I have pushed... Maybe my grandmaster friend knows what he's talking about. I think I like the idea of bringing my knight to this side of the board. He still needs to develop some pieces. So if he's not careful, I might not even castle. I might just try something forcing like this, where a capture will take place, because I will be touching 2 pieces. If I push this pawn, a capture does not need to take place, because he can simply push it forward. So he defends this idea. Terrific. I really want him to castle, because what I don't want is to like launch, like I don't want to push this pawn. And let's go for it. That's an uncommittal mood. I was literally thinking about just pushing this pawn. I kind of like where my pieces are. I'm somewhat developed. And he wants to get a head start. So it looks like neither of us are really going to be castling during this game of chess. And so that's exactly what we had asked for. So I still somewhat like this idea. It's supported by the queen. So boom, boom. Jump in with the knight. Capture, 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 capture. Then the knight goes somewhere. And then I castle. I don't want to rush into any sort of endgame. That is for sure. Let's just do it. We break in the center. My queen is looking at the king. This forces a trade. He has not castled yet. And he has to do something about it. And so if I'm lucky, he won't get to do anything with the bishop. That's never really going to happen. But we're going to do our best. And then I am kind of ready to castle this way, with the slight problem of my knight getting attacked. What do? I jump to the middle. I push the pawn. I got a square for my knight. Ooh, this position is just playing itself. And I am ready. Even after something like this, maybe I just push forward again and really just try and destabilize this naked king. Because I feel like he's only castling this way unless he moves the bishop. So, okay, so what I was talking about is capturing like this is forcing, because it does something with this knight, but then I just... Where does this knight go? He goes over here, but then I attack him. So where is this knight going to go? He has to go... If he goes here, I feel like that's just not good for our opponent. Because I can just capture, right? Attacking the queen, you have to take. And then I'm ready to push forward. But then he might just castle. He might just say, you know what? At that point, I'm castling and going down a pawn. So I definitely don't want to do an up a pawn winning an endgame situation. If that's what it comes down to, that's what it comes down to. I did my best for you boys and my one female viewer. But we'll see what happens. Because really, like, coming this way just gets you trapped. No, it doesn't. There's a fork. Okay, you got to think about where's the knight going to go after I attack it. It's going to fork my 2 most valuable pieces. So over here does sort of work. But then I can jump in with my knight, attacking your knight. And if you defend, that destabilizes your position at least somewhat. Correct? Then I attack the knight. 2 minutes on the clock. Let's give a quick little peek. How are your bullet skills? He steps all the way back. Oh my goodness. He's either a genius or an idiot. Well, what do we do with that? This pawn is actually kind of weak. I did not even consider him stepping all the way back. And so how do we punish? Immediately we attack this rook. I like the idea of this, because it kind of forces the idea of this. Then my knight's trying to come to the party. I feel like my bishop sucks. So just trading it off is probably a good idea, because this bishop is going to be annoying, okay? Like, if his bishop gets on this square and just gets this diagonal before my bishop does, it's annoying. So what we're going to... Did not see that coming. I kind of like the idea of just pushing this. Do we castle now? Well... This is an idea. Launch. What is the game plan moving forward? We castle, he pushes. I jump over. Let's do it without even thinking. 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. My rook is at least active now. He can step back like this and now castle, which was the game plan all along, to be completely honest. But the knight going here is actually a great square for his knight, because look at the future momentum of that knight. However, look at our opponent's clock. And for no bullet skills, I'm a little bit scared for him. So I really like launching a pawn. We can also trade, like try and get active with my bishops. Attack this guy? What is the game plan, my friend? Let's just put my rook here. I mean, it's just going to let him castle. But then we get the attacking game of chess that I was asking for. And we're running out of time, so it's going to get a little hectic. So we're going to just take that. Cool. This doesn't work because he defends it. Correct? But this... Well, there's also this, so drawing his queen into uncharted territories. So I believe that this move just pins two really valuable pieces. I'm not sure what he's supposed to do about that. You got to do something with the queen, and whatever you do with the queen, I'm going to get this rook. So grabbing a pawn in the middle of the board with the queen seemed like a relatively bad idea. So he doesn't need to resign, he can just step back. But that is like his only move. Because literally I am cutting off every single square in the position, bro. Like, so he has to play this. I could essentially pre-move this move. Because he's going to lose the rook for free. But I'll message him. Don't quit. No, I said do quit. Don't. Don't. I've been at work all day. I'm tired. This is the only move. Unless he plays something else, just absolutely genius. Like, he could play this, but it doesn't get out of it, because I don't have to actually move the problem. So, like, this looks like it would make me move the problem. It doesn't. I would just take with the queen, and then the problem still stands. And it doesn't actually help in any way. What's he supposed to do with this queen? Let's go ahead and just give him some time. Seems like our friend is having a hard time over here finding this move. I'm going to tell him right now. F6, bro. F6 only. Jesus. I've got all my like streaming stuff. I've got my little beautiful microphone. I've got a light over here so my face is beautiful. So typing is kind of hard because I really need to like scoot this microphone around. We don't want to do that. And he resigns. Wow, quite sad. I mean, he was gonna lose. He was gonna lose anyway. And so getting your queen in the middle of the board like this when all of my pieces are active, you know, I'm hesitant to say that that was all that incredibly accurate by me. I hung that pawn, but I hung it while it was defended tactically. So let's see. Let's check with this computer real quick. How accurate was this game? So we had the Sicilian. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. pushing forward with the pawn, but developing the bishop is just fine too. This is essentially winning because... Okay, so let's say he didn't do that. We chase him around. Is that the idea? We just castle? Okay. Confusing stuff out of the opening. Don't know about all that line. Okay. F4. Best move. What did I say? Grandmaster gave me a goddamn lesson. F4. Okay, so I'm slightly getting better at chess. I used to play F3. Now I play F4. So things are working out in my favor. We step over with the knight. We push a pawn. This was kind of a waiting move, if we're going to be honest, because I really wanted him to castle so I could castle. Right now it's saying to just castle or bring a rook, but you know what? I made that move because I wanted the castle situation to happen. He steps back, bishop here, rook over, then castle, best move, completely equal position. And then, oh my goodness, it hovered saying it was the best move for a second. Now it's saying that it's an inaccuracy. And it even recommends it as one of the best computer lines, and it still goes into an inaccuracy. Bro, chess is so hard. So this is a blunder, because I can straight up just take that knight, and you can't take back because of all of these tactics. So, like I had explained in the video, I just come out here, and boom. So how long did that take me? Like 20 seconds. 15 seconds it took me to find that. That's actually a considerable amount of time when it's basically like attack the queen in the middle of the board. So, okay, let's moment of truth. How accurate was it? 78%, dude. That is terrible. Not my best game of chess. Not my best game of chess, but at least I found this tactic to win the queen or the rook or whatever, and thank you so much for watching. It was a pleasure playing chess for you. I will try another game, more attacking. And now, without further ado, we'll jump directly into our rapid game, and hopefully this one I can be the most instructive out of all. We're facing a straight up 1500. I thought I was playing the white pieces. I almost just played what I thought was e4. I'm colorblind. Okay, we have the Caro-Kann. And if you see, I'm 1483 because I won a game and then I lost a game and I lost all of my rating. Okay. Dead serious. What am I actually supposed to do here? This is the exchange variation. I think that I do bring the bishop and push the pawn. If we see, we're going to just trade off the light square bishops. His queen is happy coming out. There is stuff like this, so I'm going to bring this knight to defend this pawn. It's generally a good idea to try and like just bring the knights out first. I'm going to be pushing this pawn like this, pretty much regardless. And if this happens, I'm not sure. That's a strange move, so we're going to just push this. I know that I need to get my bishop out, and I want to be able to castle. And then obviously my knight is probably going here or here. Long story short, if I go to this square, let me try and show you. If I go here, he can in the future pin me. If I go here, he just pushes this pawn, and then I get booted around for no reason. If I go here, I am being a little bit more attacky, so I think we're going to go with that. The downside of that is I can maybe get attacked by the knight. Like if the knight, I don't know how he gets there, but if the knight gets there, whatever. We're going to castle this way. We've got a completely little symmetrical but opposite structure. I think I'm going to push forward too because I just don't want to deal with anything like that. His move didn't make a lot of sense. Like, yes, he can bring his knight back there, and if his bishop comes out, he can get the bishop back, but I don't have a light square bishop to pin this knight, and the queen isn't even there anyway for the pin to make sense. So this pawn move didn't make a lot of sense. Mine, I feel like, did make a lot of sense because I'm trying to actually avoid this pin. Very reasonable move. Put a rook to the semi-open file. Great move by our opponent. And now we're at the crossroads. This was like always the situation when I first got into chess, maybe when I was like 1100, where I would really struggle to think, what is the plan? Like, how do I move forward? And I didn't know what moves to make. So the truth is, you either launch an attack or you make small improving moves. And so like literally I could push my pawn over here. But because he put his rook here, I'm going to put my rook here. I know that most likely if these files open up, I want our rooks to match. Then, most likely getting my queen scooted up, potentially here would make a lot of sense. That simply attacks my pawn, so I got to do something about it. I think the idea of scooting forward like this defends the pawn and We defended the pawn, we connected the rooks, and we set up this attack. So now the knight can't even go back there, or I will just take it with check. My arrows suck. And I've been doing these YouTube videos like 6 months. I just figured out. Let's see this. So I press control. Red arrow. Blue arrow. Check that out. Not that I'm really ever using it, but I got all my like stuff here. I got like the camera and I got the microphone. So reaching over like this and trying to actually mess with that, we're gonna just tickle this queen. Not 100% sure what's the idea. But if he scoots back, I will straight up just hit him again. Then my knight will come here and hit him again. And then my knight will arrive on this square. So if I get a pawn here, this square becomes mine. And we actually are a little bit worried about this pawn push. So I like the idea of pushing this pawn, my knight here. I have for 1 this fork, and then for 2 this square. And like, yes, you could come over here. I could ruin his pawn structure. I don't know if that's actually a great idea for me. Okay, so this is no longer an option. And essentially this side of the board is a little bit of a cluster fudge. I can put my knight in the middle of the board. If you can do that, go ahead and just do that. My knight's in the middle of the board. And he's going to have to do something about getting it not in the middle of the board. And so he has many, many different avenues. He can just come back and we trade off a piece equally. Nothing wrong with that. He can actually do a fair bit of things. If he sacrifices, that's a terrible idea. Terrible idea, I feel like. So probably this is his most stupid piece. He needs to do something with this bishop. I don't know what, but he needs to do something with this bishop to connect the rooks and activate his only undeveloped minor piece. So he just steps back. I think we're just going to take. Boom, boom. Do I want my knight here? Do I want to try and break the position over here? Like so? Whoa, whoa, whoa. If I go here. The chance of getting my knight to this square are pretty low. And even if I do, he's just going to trade me off immediately. So it's not even such a great thing. I'm a little bit worried. Like if he pushes and I take, or if he pushes and I don't take, then I have this super isolated weak pawn. We essentially have like a 4-on-3, if that makes sense. Because most likely this pawn is not going to trade off this pawn. So essentially we're looking at these 3 versus these 2. If some stuff's going down, what am I supposed to do here, bro? Break in the middle of the board. All of a sudden, that makes a lot of sense. Not even going to calculate it. Breaking in the middle of the board probably is the right move. When you analyze enough games with the computer, you start to learn moves like that, where it's basically like, I don't know what to do with my pieces, and it's normally a pawn move, and it's normally the pawn break. And so the reason that this has to be the correct move is because 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. 4 pieces are supporting that pawn break. So it just can't be a bad move, right? Watch me get absolutely obliterated. What's furthermore is if he decides to take, if he doesn't take, I destabilize his pawns. Or he could do like this, but then I could push this pawn forward. If he doesn't take, I can take. Okay? This pawn would be left all alone. But he has to take back with his pawn, so we'd have 2 isolated queen's pawns. And then this side of the board would be a lot more stable. For me, at least. Well, I don't know what I mean for me. And what's furthermore, I'm sad that I lost my account. I played like thousands of games on that account. And so you get a lot of analytics into the way that you play chess. And one thing that I noticed is when I play bullet, I hardly ever checkmate. Oh. Excuse me? This pawn is hanging, bro. Why is chess so hard? We take. He takes. Oof. I'm going to lose a pawn. And I don't see a great way around it. And not only that, once he grabs this, my knight gets to the center. Yes. But now I'm down a pawn. So now I need to absolutely figure out an attack on this dude. I mean, we're going to just cramp the position. He can just bring the knight. We are afraid of this rook trade, essentially. He could kind of like boom, boom, boom. And then I scoot over. But then he could kind of... Yeah, I'm in a little bit of trouble right now. Me touching this pawn is like maybe taking like this, and then I'm touching this after a check. I can also line up some ideas. Dude is 1500, and the accuracy of some of these players is absolutely ridiculous. Like yesterday, what did I play? A 1700, and he played so accurate. It was like a 93% accurate in like a crazy game. That's a complete lie. I have no idea what the percent was. He just beat me. So if he beat me, he played too accurately. That's how I feel. All right, my bro. Make a move, bruh. I mean, essentially, we're gonna just have that pre-moved. I wish you could still draw arrows after you do a little pre-move. If he doesn't, and he allows, I'm gonna move my rook over to line up the discovery on the queen. So I'll just if he doesn't trade the rooks, I'm gonna go for this. Plain and simple, we win the queen. I'm just gonna set that up with the second idea of it's like a tempo winning move. It's a pretty straightforward attack. So he'll have to do something with the queen. And you also want to maintain defending this bishop. Actually, the knight's doing a good job of that. And he doesn't trade the rooks. So that's the whole reason. Like, if I can avoid trading these rooks, I'm going to do so. Because the more pieces that we trade, the more of an end game that we hop into. And I don't want to hop into an end game where he has this extra pawn. So until I'm able to do something, like conjure up a nice little attack or win a pawn, okay. One thing to note is that rook is undefended. We can take here. I don't think he's going to fall for this. I can take this. If he takes back with the knight, I take this with check. But if I take, he throws in this check first. Then I come in. Wait a minute. We take. If he takes my rook, I take back his rook. He probably takes like this. But then I slide in. He could trade me off. You know what? At the off chance of that this might work, if I take here, let's just do it. If he takes... Oh, that also works. Gosh darn it. I didn't even consider that. We're going to step over like this. New idea is this. With 4 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock, there's not a chance that that works. We are still very much in an end game where I need to figure out how to win. And so... arguably, his king is weaker than mine. I mean, sort of. This rook sucks, so I think what we're going to do is just double up on this pawn. What's really important now is that I don't make any, like, small... I can't be making any blunders. I can attack that rook. We want... Maybe I go like this. I could just go like this and it's defended. So what about we add an attacker? He could push, but then I just take. No, no, no. Here, here. I just take like this. Then I have an extra pawn. He's going to stack up on it pretty quickly. But I think that this is going to be my opportunity to fight back for this pawn. And I can reposition my bishop. Like, yes, my bishop's doing a great job over here, but having my bishop looking over here on this diagonal might actually be a good idea. So pretty plain and simple, I'm threatening this. If he takes for the rook, I take. He takes, I take. I got more attackers. So we are chilling. We have 1, 2, 3 pieces looking at this, and he only has 1, 2. So that's a very simple way of, can I capture this piece? How many pieces do you have looking at it? You need to have 1 more than whatever number they have. Okay? And it changes a little bit, like if you're attacking with your queen first. And so, like, if you see I am attacking with my queen first, so if I take, and then he takes, okay, this is not a great example. Say I had to take with my queen first, it's not great because he could take with the rook, and then even if I take, he doesn't have to take back with his queen.